This is ContraZoom, where we go back and forth about film. I'm your host, Dakota Arsenault. Last year, before the Oscars, we did our first ever draft episode. Myself, Rachel, Brodie, and Alex all took turns picking movies nominated for Oscars last year. And we're back for round two. Joining the show once again is Brodie, Cotnam, and Alex Watson, but Rachel is living it up in Vegas right now, probably once again making bad bets like she did with Elvis being her first round pick last year. But in her place is the excellent Thomas Stoneham-Judge, the owner of For Real and the co-founder of the Cascadian Film and Television Critics Association. Welcome back to the show, Thomas. How are you?
I am a little nervous. I am really not sure how this is going to go, but I'm excited to see how it plays out. So, Oscar season's always a fun time to make predictions and guesses, and this is just a really, really fun way of going about it.
Let's just say they're not large shoes you need to fill.
Ooh, hurts, man.
Oh, boy, I didn't see how Rachel did last year, but Elvis as your first round pick is tough. But I mean, I'm actually really bad at like fantasy football. So when it's like draft picking, I have so much terrible experience there that like this can't be any worse. Like I actually kind of know this. So.
Well, I'll give a brief recap. Last year, Brodie did end up winning at 9 points. We're going to get to that in a moment. Alex got 5 points. I got 4, and Rachel got 2. Last year, we also didn't include the shorts, so there was only 20 categories. But yeah, Rachel, not good, not at all. But yeah,
it's okay.
Welcome.
It's okay, Rachel. We still love you.
She's probably not even going to watch this out of protest.
That's fair. I can understand.
We'll just sing some Elvis songs in the middle of it to make her happy. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. So, guys, Alex, Brodie, welcome back as well. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, guys. Thank you so much for having me on again. And, of course, I'm happy because this year I didn't screw up my introduction like last time. So, there we go.
And, Brodie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to it.
All right. So it's pretty simple. There are 53 Oscar-nominated movies this year. We will each be picking 5 movies, and whoever has the most Oscar wins. So now we're going to figure out who picks first in a moment, but it will be a snake draft, which means it will go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back and forth like that. All movies are eligible, as I said, including shorts. So we now have 3 extra points this year. So it's going to be really interesting to see if someone maybe takes a stab in the dark at picking a short, because it really are, those 3 are the hardest categories to predict. But first off, Brodie, you won last year. Do you have any sort of a strategy that you're approaching this year?
Well, I mean, if it was just like last year, you hope it falls into your lap. But honestly, I do like the way we're doing it this year with the shorts, because I think it just adds a bit more. To your point, it adds more movies to pick, because, I mean, by the end of, our picks last year, we're picking the 4th, 5th ranked, whatever, winging a prayer on a category. So this year, I like that it's going to be – I think there's just going to be more division amongst the movies too. Like I don't see anything cleaning up the way that Everything Everywhere did all last year. So I'm really excited to see kind of the strategy more this year, because I think it's going to be a lot more divided. Like this one will win one, this one might win one. So it really comes down to, who performs well that night. Mm-hmm. And also, is Thomas aware of, are we still doing the same stakes as last year?
Well, last year, yeah, the winner made the loser watch a movie of their choice. We did not talk about this beforehand, so we'll have an on-air production meeting. Thomas, do those stakes sound good? You would have to come back if you lost and give a mini review about the movie that was chosen.
You know what's really funny is that actually almost kind of makes me want to lose. So, no, I'm down for that. That sounds great.
Great. Something like gambling to add to the stakes. Nothing serious. Alex, are you feeling confident about today?
I think this year I'm going to be a little bit more strategic, because last year I kind of went with the movies that had the most nominations. Like, it's kind of really hard to look back and think that Tar, The Fabelmans, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, that they all had multiple nominations and none of them came away with anything. So I'm going to be a bit more strategic and maybe pick a few more like ones that are more of a certainty in their categories, rather than just saying, hey, this is loads of nominations, go for that one. So yeah, I think being more specific is the key this year.
I think this year there's going to be a lot more of that. Like, this is only going to win one, but you got to get your point.
Mm-hmm. Now, Thomas, I'm curious. You are filling in for Rachel this year, so this is all brand new to you. I sent you this request, this crazy request, and I sort of feel like that you're just going to wing it a little bit. Are you coming in with any sort of strategy, or how is this going to work for you?
Oh, I'm totally winging it. It's so hard sometimes to predict what can happen at the Oscars. And a lot of it, and this is what I learned from football drafting, is that a lot of it is just luck. It's really just like it falls into your lap. So I have my ideas on what I think will win big. I don't think that. I mean, we shouldn't talk about that yet. But
don't spoil anything.
No, but I have a very similar strategy where it's like look at the films that are kind of locks for their category and really have a good idea of which films those are to at least get something on the board.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we all have a deck of cards. This is a video podcast, so if you're just listening to this is not going to be very exciting radio. But we've got decks of cards, or in the case of two people, a random card generator. Brodie and I are going to shuffle on screen. You can see us shuffling our cards right now. Alex and Thomas, you're about to hit random shuffle, and we're going to figure out who goes first. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, 2. Jeez. Okay. And what? Okay, Alex, you got an 8. Thomas, what's that you have? I can't see.
Ace.
Oh, okay. So Thomas goes first.
Yeah. Wait, I should have thought my strategy better.
And then Brodie, you had a 2 as well.
I had a 2. Yeah.
Okay, look at this. The two people with actual physical cards got the 2 lowest. So, Brodie, you and I are going to reshuffle and go again. Funny how that works out, that you guys magically got higher numbers than us. All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1.
You got
10.
it.
Okay, so I'm third, and then, Brodie, you are fourth.
If only I was a power hitter.
All right. So the way it's going to work is we're going to go around the table here. Thomas, Alex, myself, then Brodie, and then vice versa. And you'll get about 30 to 60 seconds to justify or not justify your pick, however you wish to do so. Does that sound good to everyone? We're ready to go?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Thomas Stoneham-Judge with the first overall pick. You are now on the clock.
This is a lot of pressure, guys. This wasn't a movie that I was going to originally pick because I was not expecting to be first, but I kind of have to do it. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm taking Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I think every one of us would have gone with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's just
Rachel.
It's a great first round pick. It has so many nominations. It cleaned up at the BAFTAs. It would be dumb not to take Oppenheimer, even if it doesn't win a whole lot, because like you're mentioning last year, sometimes the movie that gets a whole lot of nominations only gets like one win. So that's entirely possible here. But also Christopher Nolan is kind of due for some shine. And so like maybe this is the opportunity for that. Maybe it will. I don't think it's going to clean up. I don't think it'll do everything everywhere all at once, but maybe we'll get a couple points on the board with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Terrific pick.
Yeah, I firmly agree with that one. Yeah, Nolan is due. I'm actually glad he's winning for this one as opposed to winning for Interstellar or Inception, because I feel this really was his masterpiece. I feel so far.
It's his most Oscar movie.
Yeah. All right, Alex, then you are now on the clock. What is going to be your pick?
My nomination is probably going to be the strangest of all the movies we've seen here, but Poor Things will be my choice with the second pick, because I feel that at this point in time, I feel Emma Stone is pretty much a lock for the best actress. I mean, we'll see what happens with the SAG Awards tonight, but she's won the Golden Globe, she's won the BAFTA, and I feel at this point, I really wanted it to be Lily Gladstone, but Emma Stone is also just as great as well. I also feel it's going to win a lot of the design awards. Like, I feel it's going to win the costume design, the best hair and makeup, the production design. So I think it's got a good chance at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's a strong one. It does have the second most nominations with 11 overall. So once again, you do have the volume there playing in your favor because you have more opportunities to win. the better your odds can possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, it won't trouble Oppenheimer in the big categories, I feel, but apart from Best Actress. But yeah, I think a lot of the kind of the more technical design Oscars, it hopefully will do quite well in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. All right, so that means I am up, and I feel like third is the hardest one to go because I've got like 2 or 3 that I'm leaning towards. I've got all written down here.
You can just say Elvis if you want.
Guarantee 0. I'm gonna go Barbie, and I'm not super confident about this pick here, but it does have 8 nominations, and I think that it's going to be a bit of a contender in some of the technical categories, whether that's costume, production design, song.
Song's a lock, man.
I feel like it's a lock.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I agree.
There, so I'm looking at maybe 2 to 3 wins here, maybe a couple more if it overperforms. But I think it's a good pick for getting multiple wins potentially.
No, I mean the top 2 songs are both. Yeah, if you're betting, are both Barbie side. You're getting one at least.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of that, Brodie, you are now up. So, what is going to be the number 4? You actually get back-to-back picks. So, take it at your own leisure.
I'm gonna go with the Holdovers because I think you're guaranteed at least one or hopefully a couple. I like Cillian Murphy. I'm rooting for Paul Giamatti, and I just really enjoyed the movie. So I'll go with that for my number 4. And
it's really interesting how at the beginning of this Oscar season, everyone was just talking about the Best Actor race. Everyone was saying, "Oh, it's going to be Murphy versus Bradley Cooper for the Best Actor." Now, Giamatti's come out of nowhere. They're like, "Yeah, forget Cooper. We want this guy." So I actually love that, to be honest, because he's due for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the SAG Awards are on like as we're doing this, and that's like the indicator.
Yes,
basically. So.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. We are recording this right as the SAG Awards are happening. They've basically just been doing the TV stuff. They haven't really gotten to the movie stuff yet, last I checked.
I haven't seen anything.
So it's going to be real interesting that this episode might be completely out of date for the acting predictions by the time it comes out in a couple days.
That's fine.
All right, it's your turn again, Brodie. What do you got for your second round pick?
I'm gonna have to use Alex's strategy here. I'm gonna go Zone of Interest because I think that's a lock. International, so I got to get points where you can. I know Dakota was very thrilled by the look on his face there.
Absolutely a lock for Best
International. Yeah.
And I haven't seen the one France did nominate, but I did watch Anatomy of a Fall, and I'm like, man, they should have nominated that. That was a brilliant movie. So.
Don't get me started on France and the nominations there. Have a whole rant. Anyone who knows. If you know, you know.
Yeah, that's a really solid pick. As you notice right away, I am a little disappointed that I didn't get a chance to
well, you're next.
Yeah, with the next pick. Because obviously, along with International, I also think it's a really strong dark horse for sound. I would not be surprised. Maybe go with that as far as hey, this is a really unique and interesting opportunity to award Zone of Interest as opposed to just Oppenheimer or one of the other nominees. So it's a sneaky pick for sure.
Yeah, well, I know you guys were talking about that on the pod because that's one of there's only a couple of Best Picture noms that I haven't seen, and that's one. And I know you guys said it could be sneaky contender for sound.
Yeah. Okay. Now once again, I got another toss up here between 2 that I'm trying to go for my pick. Do I go? You know what? I got to get a volume pick in, and that's going to be Killers of the Flower Moon. While it looks like Emma Stone is trending to win actress, maybe Lily Gladstone gets the momentum back and wins it. And the fact that it's got 10 nominations, it speaks volumes to the fact that it does got the volume aspect to it. I don't think it's going to be a contender for things like picture or director, but maybe out of nowhere screenplay or production design win sort of comes out from this. I don't really know. It's got a very low floor but high ceiling, I think.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, any of the movies where they had to build cities or like Barbie where they built the whole thing, like any of those could do production design.
Mm-hmm. All right, Alex, it's your turn now.
I'm going to go, my second pick, I'm going to go Anatomy of a Fall. because I feel this has got a good chance of winning the original screenplay because it's won the BAFTA, won the Golden Globe, but I don't think it's. I mean, I'm still baffled how they didn't nominate this in the Best International Film, considering, I mean, it won the Palme d'Or this year, for goodness sake. But yes, I feel it's good. I mean, I think Justine Triet is definitely going to win. I feel the best original screenplay. I think that's probably its best chance of winning an Oscar this year. But I mean, best picture, best director, those are tough categories to come away with something in, particularly for this sort of movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I feel like it probably didn't get best international film because of the conflict of interest with another potential contender, and I think votes are probably split between the two. That only makes sense. So, but you got there before I did. So,
I'm just glad they're bringing the dog around everywhere.
Yeah. All right, Thomas, you get to pick. It is now your turn. You're actually going to get back-to-back picks. So what's your first one?
I didn't plan for this. Okay, good point. My first one is going to be a passion pick because I really want it to win Best Picture. I don't think it will, but I really want it to win Best Picture, and that's Past Lives. Anyone who knows me knows I've been barking about this film for literally the last 13 months. It's a great film, and I really hope that it gets something. I hope it doesn't get the Flea treatment, because that was another Sundance film that got a few nominations and then was just entirely shut out. So I hope that's not the case here. I would like to see it win something. So okay, Past Lives, and then I think for my next pick, I'm gonna go. You know what? Let's nab Spider-Verse. That sounds fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was.
I feel like because you got Oppenheimer first, you've now had the ability to make two interesting picks here in a row because you can play it a little more dangerously. Past Lives, as you said, probably isn't winning Best Picture, but it's probably going to be competitive for original screenplay. And then Spider-Verse, it seems to be a two-horse race up at the top of animated feature. So if it ends up winning, that's a solid 1-for-1 win for Spider-Verse there.
Yeah. That's the breakdown. So yeah, I'll hit my bets on that.
All right, Alex, it is time for your turn now.
My next pick, I'm going to go with American Fiction, because I feel this is probably a good one for the adapted screenplay. I mean, it's really, so far, it's been getting a lot of buzz for its like adapted screenplay. I mean, I loved seeing Jeffrey Wright finally getting his Oscar nomination, and Sterling K. Brown was a real, I think, fan favorite too in the supporting category. But I mean, unfortunately, it's just an absolutely stacked year in each category. So unfortunately, I think those two performances won't get the results they deserve. But I think certainly the adapted screenplay is probably its best shot.
I think it's the betting favorite right now, actually, when I looked earlier.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. There you go. Well, let's hope it works out.
Yeah, I thought, I forget what it was. Oppenheimer, I thought was the favorite, but no, actually, Anatomy of a Fall right now on some of the betting sites. It's or not Anatomy of a Fall, American Fiction.
Interesting. Okay.
It's so interesting because I would have said a few months ago that both screenplay categories were probably locked up completely. Yeah. And now it seems to be such an interesting race where both of them are so competitive where I feel like it's too early to call either way.
Yeah, I'm not going to feel confident about this pick until it's read out. So there you go.
All right, it is now my turn. With my third overall pick, I think I'm going to have to go with another volume pick, and that's going to be Maestro. And I think its safest bet is probably Best Hair and Makeup. I don't know what else it's going to pick up outside of that, if anything. But this looks like it's going to be a solid one-win film. Fingers crossed, obviously. But yeah, that's my thinking there.
I was wondering who would take the last Best Picture nominee. Maestro, I feel like Maestro, I think you're right, but hair and makeup, that's such a, I don't want to dog on hair and makeup department. It's a very important department, but I think when it comes to the Oscars, it's such a honorary award. It's like, we need to give this to a film that we want to win an Oscar, but don't actually want to give an Oscar. And so I could see Maestro kind of being the Academy Award winning film because of hair and makeup.
I would say that I think both Best visual effects and best sound, the two categories the last 5 or so years have started really improving the quality of films that they have been nominating and making outside the box picks and doing some really unique stuff. And I feel like hair and makeup is sort of due for that sort of overhaul of them picking better quality movies, maybe more subtle movies, things that are more innovative, rather than, frankly, some not so great picks. Like as far as actual movies, I'm talking about something like Golda this year being nominated, which was a really not good film.
I haven't seen it.
It's really bad.
I
It's
saw it
really-
advertised on Amazon Prime, and I was just like, I'm okay.
yeah, it's not your time. All right, Brodie, you've got back-to-back picks again. So what do you got?
I'm gonna go with 28 Days in Mariupol because that's one of the biggest favorites I know right now for Doc. Docs I'm behind on, but I know that one is supposed to be quite good. So I'm gonna go with that. And then I'm going to make Dakota very angry again because I'm gonna go with his boy Wes Anderson.
Ooh.
So I got to go with William Sugar because I watched it the other day. It was really good. And I do think that's going to win for best live action. Just the production was awesome. The cast is great. I see that winning, both of those winning. So sorry, Dakota, but I will be cheering for Wes Anderson. So that's a plus.
Hey, I will take the victories where I can get them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think those are pretty strong picks. They both are sort of the front runners for their categories. Obviously, I think the documentary and the short are some of the hardest ones to predict because you can be like, this looks like the front runner, and then it doesn't. Some random film ends up winning that you've never heard of and will never be spoken about again, sort of thing. But I think you picked two strong favorites and could net you 2 points there. So I think those are two strong picks.
Yeah, because there's not much left in terms of volume picks. So.
That's the thing. Yeah, I now have the choice between a couple of multi-nominated films, but we're getting to near the end here. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to go with The Creator because I think it's going to win Best Visual Effects. It's got 2 nominations, Visual Effects and Sound. I don't think it's going to win Sound, but I think it's a pretty strong front runner for Visual Effects.
It was a stunning film.
Quick plug for Dune 2. Let's go ahead and get that buzzword in there for SEO purposes. It's absolutely going to win sound next year. So can I go ahead and lock my vote in next year for Dune 2 for sound and like all the technicals?
Fair enough. All right, Alex, it is now your turn. What are you going to pick with your 4th pick?
I'm going to go with Boy and the Heron for my next pick because I know Thomas is all over Spider-Verse. From what I've been seeing, I feel that one is one of the very strong contenders for that category. I mean, if you'd asked me in the summertime, I would have said, yeah, Spider-Verse is going to absolutely walk this. But as the months have gone along, this one's just gotten more and more buzz, and it's been really racking up some of the wins, like recently as well. So I feel this could be a really good contender for the best animated feature.
I think it's a coin flip between those two.
Yeah, I'm going to agree because Spider-Verse as well was just really, it's incredible the way that they really changed the game in terms of what animated features can achieve. But at the same point, it's Studio Ghibli for Boy and the Heron, and that's really an Oscar favorite. So like you said, coin flip.
Yeah. All right, so now is Thomas back to you, and you've got 2 picks in a row, including your 4th and your final 5th pick.
All right, the pressure. Jeez, okay. Well, I know for sure the one that I'm gonna do for my next pick is gonna be Nǎi Nai Wài Pó, the short film by Sean Wang. Oh yeah, no, that dude is cleaning up. He just debuted. So this won the audience award and the jury award at South by Southwest. It was picked up by Disney, and then Sean Wang just debuted his feature film at Sundance, Dee Dee, which also won awards at Sundance. He's cleaning up, and I don't see why that would not put him as the front runner for best short, especially with Disney money. It's picked up by Disney. Yeah, this is winning. Short film, short live action film. So I'm going to pick that. I feel very confident in that one. The next one I do not feel confident in. I think I'm just gonna lean really heavily on the volume pick that I started with, and for my next one, no, it's not gonna win anything. This is tough, guys. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Nyad.
Whoa!
It's not a good pick. I know.
That's gutsy.
It's not a good pick. I love. So here's the thing, right? Like, what the reason I'm terrible at drafts is because I have passion picks, and I really, really did like Annette Bening and Jodie Foster, and so you know what? This is a vote for them. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there, and like, if I lose this draft, then at least they know that I love them and that they did a great job in this film.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate you willing to tank your last pick. I super appreciate that. And then I'll just say about your pick, Nǎi Nai Wài Pó, minor correction, was best documentary short, not live action.
I'm sorry. You're right. Documentary. Sorry, I didn't have it logged here, and I took a quick guess. But yes, thank you for correcting that.
And then I'm also going to plug something here. Paulo Bautista recently did a review of Didi that he saw and gave it a very glowing review and thinks it might be an Oscar contender for next year's award. So I'm going to link to that in the show notes because it's a great review if you're interested in what might be the big breakout Sundance hit of this year. All right, Alex, you are up with your final pick. So what is going to be your last pick here?
Oh, it's such a tough one because like we've gone through so many of the picks already. I'm gonna go with a bit of a risky one here. I'm gonna go with just because it's got a couple of nominations. I'm not confident it's going to win either of them, but I'm gonna go with Napoleon because it's got nominations. It's got 2 nominations: production design and hair and makeup. I'm just going with it one because it's got at least a couple of nominations. I mean, let's be honest, it's not one of Ridley Scott's like best loved films because the historical accuracy of it left a lot to be desired. And I think aside from Vanessa Kirby, it didn't get much love apart from that. But it's got 2 nominations that, and I don't know. I mean, the Oscars tends to love these kind of period picks, so we'll see how we go.
It actually has 3 nominations.
3 nominations.
Oh, it does 3? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. This was the other one that I was contemplating, but I didn't think either of them had a chance, and so that I'm happy that you picked it up.
There you go.
And then I am going to also get in on the short game, but with my last pick, I'm going to go with the ABCs of book banning, which is a very powerful short film about how more than ever books in the United States are being banned or restricted from children or in public libraries. And so this short documentary kind of shows different books in has people reading portions of them and realizing why this might scare certain sections of conservative America, even though it's quite innocuous. Things like children being proud of themselves because they are a person of color, or women having independence, or things like that. Whatever silly thing that you think is completely inoffensive, these types of books are being banned in mass in the United States. So I'm going with the ABCs of book banning. That's my last pick.
Dakota, you have just made this like the most interesting category for me.
Yeah, because I was looking it up earlier, and it was ABCs of book banning, and the other one, those are the 2 favorites. And I was going to pick ABCs of book banning if you didn't, because I know it's one of the favorites. So.
All right, Brodie, you've got the last pick overall, so please finish us out.
Well, do I pick with my heart or do I pick a favorite? That's the question. Because I know you guys picked the creator. Godzilla -1 was one of my favorite movies, and I know it's nominated for effects, but I'm going to have to probably go with Letter to a Pig. It's another of the shorts, and I know it's a heavy favorite. So we got to go with the favorites. Shout out to Godzilla -1, though, because I loved it.
Yeah, that was probably
Yeah, that's
yeah, a good
that's
one.
a strong last pick. I don't know where animated short is going. I have no idea. I've watched them all, and I can't figure out which one is going to be the front runner, because you can look at them and be like, oh, which one's more political? Which one makes you cry? Which one has the big money backing? And none of them really have something that sort of stands out. So I really have no idea how to predict that category. So I think that's a really good shot in the dark there.
Did you finish your death race then?
No, I am now currently up to 48 out of 53.
Oh,
I've
geez.
got 5 movies
Oh,
remaining.
but good for you, man. That's I think I'm somewhere in the 20s. So good for you.
All right, so that is our drafts. I don't know. Did all of you write down your notes? I'd love for you to read off your picks and sort of give a little bit of a recap of how you feel after this. Thomas, you're first. You have your picks there.
I I think I'm gonna suffer in this from the same thing that I suffer in football. Draft picking is just kind of going with what I know, personally, and like voting with my heart. So I Oppenheimer, that's a volume pick. Past Lives, passion pick. Spider Verse, also a passion pick. I do have a lot of faith in it for animated film, but also Boy and the Heron is a really good choice too. So we'll see about that. Nyad, I have very, very little confidence in. That was entirely like 110% passion pick. And I do have a lot of confidence in Nǎi Nai Wài Pó, for documentary short film. I think it is early in his career to give him an Oscar, but he's won so many other awards. I think he's doing the circuit unintentionally very well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Alex, you were second. So what was your team, and how do you feel about it?
Overall, I mean, I'm actually I'm a super nerd when it comes to things. I actually write out an order of a draft as I'm going. Yeah, I'm literally yeah. So like literally, I mean, obviously Oppenheimer would have been the one I would have loved as the first pick, but I think getting Poor Things as a second pick is also a good one as well. Hopefully, it's going to get at least a couple. Aside from that, I ended up getting a lot of the picks I actually hoped to get, like Anatomy of the Fall, American Fiction. Boy and the Heron was like pretty high on my list, so I'm glad I got that one as well. Napoleon was a bit of an improvisation because honestly, I was just kind of towards the end, I was thinking, yeah, I'm out of picks right now. I've got to pick something. So I was looked at which one had also a big nomination. So yeah, that was kind of me improvising a little at the end there. So hopefully I'll come away with some points, but well, nothing is guaranteed until the names are read out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing I wanted to say really quick, the thing I wanted to say about Poor Things that I meant to say when you were talking about it when you picked it is that Yorgos Lanthimos was at the Oscars last time for The Favorite, which had a ton of Oscar nominations back then. I think it had like 11 nominations, and it was one of those years where it had a ton of nominations and only got like one or something like that. So
yeah, Coleman, yeah,
there
could happen again.
There is an argument, I guess, to say that maybe this is where the Academy recognizes the fact that he's multiple years getting a lot of nominations. So that was, I'm just supporting your pick and maybe also loathing my selection a little bit more.
If Lanthimos' film goes home almost empty-handed, I think very easily the next time he has a movie, he is going to have the sort of overdue narrative behind him that might propel him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so my team is Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, the creator, and ABC's of book banning. I have no idea how I'm going to do. I feel like I've got a bit of a middle of the pack team where I gotta hope for several things to really go my way to go well. So I'm not super happy about my picks, but I feel like at least 4 of my picks are going to get me one win each. So I'm feeling a little bit confident about that in that regard. So hopefully that helps me. All right, Brodie, and you were last. So what is your team and how do you feel about it?
Similar vibe to yourself. I got The Holdovers, Zone of Interest, Secret Life of William Sugar, 28 Days in Mariupol, and Letter to a Pig. I'm fairly confident that I've picked the favorite in a lot of categories. Now it's basically just going to come down to how The Holdovers does. Because if The Holdovers gets 2 or 3, I should do okay. If it maybe just ends up with 1, I'm not getting a whole lot, I don't think, but we'll see. Because that's the I don't have volume picks because most of them went before I could get to. So
Yeah.
I'm confident in the films. It's more that they're only going to win maybe one or two each.
Is it called the Wonderful Story of William Sugar or Henry Sugar?
Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Henry Sugar. Okay.
It's okay. It's actually interesting, that one, because I remember reading the book of that as a child. It's actually one of Roald Dahl's novels that I really liked. But the only thing is, though, I kind of wish that Wes Anderson had actually covered the story The Hitchhiker, because that was kind of my favorite ever Roald Dahl story. And it's great that he did like the Swan and the Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and all the other, and the Ratcatcher. But The Hitchhiker would have really been a great Wes Anderson short, I think.
Yeah. I think overall, I think we all have some very interesting teams here. It can go in any direction. I will say this. I think, Thomas, you have the strongest team. And I think that's specifically because you have Oppenheimer. Yeah. I'm not as high on your other picks. I can see where you can get some points, but the fact that you have Oppenheimer, I think, is really going to help you in terms of getting a lot of big points early on and late in the game as well. But I would not discount Brodie. I think you've got some sneaky, really good picks here where I look at, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 to 7 points is what I'm looking at for you personally, is how I was budgeting it. So I think the two of you are going to be real competitive.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go to Vegas and bet on Alex.
All right.
We can get Rachel to place your bet while she's there.
What about either of you? Do either of you see someone that looks like maybe the favorite?
If Oppenheimer performs well, then yeah.
I personally, I don't think it's going to be an Oppenheimer whitewash, but I think certainly I know it's going to win the Best Picture, the Best Director. I'm still not 100% convinced on Best Actor, because I get the feeling that Giamatti could. It's a similar thing to last year. I felt it was going to be like Butler, but then when Fraser won, I was like, yeah, I completely agree. I'm not surprised, but yeah. Other than that, I think it's going to be a good mixture of winners this year.
Well, and Robert Downey Jr. too.
Yeah. He just won tonight as well. So
it's so it's very interesting how momentum works with this, because I remember last year so clearly. I saw The Whale at TIFF, and from TIFF until the end of December, Brendan Fraser was the favorite, and then Austin Butler just had this resurgence of interest, and somehow Brendan Fraser made it, was able to pull through. So yeah, it's very interesting how momentum works, and I think that for me,
just because
Rachel started a campaign. I think for me, the beginning of the first half of the Oscars is going to be very uninteresting for me. I think I'm going to tune in. I
think the first half of the Oscars last year, everyone was just waiting for Natu to play, because everyone was like, "We just want to see the dads.
Yes.
Hurry up!"
And I wish that they put more money into it. It could have been so good.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I think that wraps up this episode here. I want to thank all three of you for coming on. It's been a real pleasure, as always. I love doing these fun things, and Thomas, I'm so glad you got to come on board and do this with us. I'll start with you, Thomas. Where can people find you? Is there anything you wish to promote here today?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find my content at thisisforreal.com, for real, FORREL.com. I'm in the middle of a new series of Real Buzz videos where I pair movie reviews with whiskey. And my next one comes out on February 28th, the Wednesday before the release of Dune 2. Guess what it's about? Dune 2. I am actually really excited to talk about it. You had a little bit of a preview of my feelings on that film, but to watch that video review, you can go to our YouTube channel and connect with us on social media at thisisforreal on Twitter and Instagram.
Fantastic. I will make sure to link to all of that stuff in the show notes. Alex, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at @floweringsnows. I'm on Instagram at @al_Watson1. You can find my letterbox at @AW4FilmSquawk.
Excellent. And Brodie, what about you?
Yeah, just my name, Brodie Cotnam, on most social media stuff. As always, I'm doing a bunch of screenwriting. Got some things I can't talk about. We'll see if they pan out, and if they do, I'll let you guys know.
Fantastic. I cannot wait for that. This has been a That Shelf podcast. Visit thatshelf.com for more great film discourse. Follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at ContraZoomPod. Who do you think had the best draft? Send an email to ContraZoomPod@gmail.com. Thank you to Eric and Kevin Smale for the theme music and to Stephanie Pryor for the logo design. If you like to listen to the podcast, we do post all episodes on YouTube as well. And if you really like the show, consider tipping us on coffee. Thanks for checking us out.